All right, episode number 10. We got DatKid Smoove in the house. How you doing, bro?
Good to see you, brother. It's been a while.
It's been at least almost 3 years probably since I've seen you.
Yeah, when we were both in San Francisco. Now we're in Oakland.
Yeah. How you been? What's been going on with you?
Man, for everybody that's listening, my name is Zach Taylor, aka DatKid Smoove. I'm a full-time IT technician, but also the founder of Hard to Reach Entertainment. Just been working, been grinding, bro.
We are drinking this coffee, 319 coffee. I never heard of it before, but I found it at Whole Foods. It sounds fire. It's made in Berkeley, actually.
Really?
So, yeah, it's roasted there, ethically sourced and roasted in Berkeley, California. So right down the street from us.
Honestly, I wanted to ask you, is this decaf or?
No, it's not.
No.
Are you?
No, I've always wanted to ask that.
Oh.
So. I don't even know what that means, so it's like.
Oh man, basically, yeah, it won't keep you up at night if you want your coffee later on.
Oh, but it's like, do they take the caffeine?
I don't know how they
out,
do
or?
that. I have no idea how they do that. I've always wondered.
That's so interesting.
I thought it's like a chemical, isn't it? Caffeine.
That's what I was thinking, but I'm not too sure.
I don't know. Cool. So, where are you working at right now, or where you said you're technical?
Yeah, right now I'm an IT technician,
Okay.
so providing applications, passwords to different companies. Right now I'm contracted through a lot of different healthcare companies.
Okay.
But full-time, Hard to Reach Entertainment.
Yeah, I seen that. That's awesome, bro. So we were working at Apple before. What happened there? Did you leave that, or did you get fired? I got fired, bro.
Oh, you were being straight up? Oh,
yeah.
my gosh.
I don't know if you saw my episode before.
No.
Well, I talked about it because I had Amber on the show, and she worked for Apple, but she's does branding and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And I was telling her the story how I got fired at Apple.
No, not even that. When you left, you mentioned something specific about it.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't really dig too deep into it, but I quit, and I went on to do contracting work with Adobe. So I ended up going to San Jose, working there for 6 months.
I saw that actually on your Instagram.
Yeah, it was dope. I mean, there were a lot of different creatives, working up there. A lot of people worked there for 30 plus years, but the scene that we're kind of in, it's not my scene.
Yeah,
so
I hear that.
There quick.
I hear that. That's cool, man. What'd you do at Adobe?
Same thing, technical specialist.
Okay.
So helping people with their computers,
Right.
Mac, PCs,
Okay.
stuff like that.
Yeah, I recently just bought the subscription for Adobe. But I use one. Well, I don't know if I can say it on here, but yeah, one of my friends is in college, so he helped me out with that. So it's a bit cheaper.
You got a plug. To
Yeah,
say
you
the
got the
least.
plug.
Yeah.
So that's been some money for me. And now you're at just contracting different companies.
Yeah. Right now, just because of COVID, my
Yeah.
first job that I was contracted with was at a pharmacy, and then COVID happened, so a lot of us actually got let go.
Really?
Yeah. It was terrible, but it actually gave me 3 months to focus on Hard to Reach,
Yeah.
which was nice because we started building our team. We made it official through LegalZoom, which we'll get into more.
Oh, nice. Well, let's
later.
go ahead and get into that. Let's talk about Hard to Reach.
Okay. Yeah.
I know that's a big thing in your life, and I've seen it grow just even from the past 3 years that I've been following on Instagram and all that. It's been cool. So explain a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think for me, especially working at Apple with you,
Yeah.
when we were talking about it, we would be slapping music,
Yeah.
and just chatting it up about, different music opportunities. But I think now we have it more organized to where we're a service, we're a community, and we take a lot of different artists and creatives' works, and we promote them for them. So it's definitely growing. And right now what we want to do is create an artist platform that can give artists more of a spotlight, because the Bay, it's kind of hard to kind of give people that limelight. And for me leaving, from Las Vegas to LA, to Japan even, seeing different cultures, I know now, what the motive is. And I think it's clear.
So when you first started was this your intention, or did it kind of start from something and then change into what it is now, and then maybe do you see it going to something different in the future?
It's funny, bro, because growing up, I played the violin, the clarinet,
really?
the drums. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah, I played the
fire.
violin, the clarinet.
Can you still play the violin?
I cannot. Thing about that is when you play the violin, for people that do know, you get blisters under your fingers.
Oh, I got them when I play the guitar and the bass.
Exactly.
So back in the day, but now my fingers have gotten so callous to it that I never get blisters.
Because you still play for?
Yeah, I still play for church. Yeah,
Awesome. Cool.
Well, now we haven't had church in 3 months.
Yeah,
But
because
yeah, but I still play.
I don't know if that's funny, but But yeah, I mean, it started, I was a rapper, I always
Yeah.
wanted to be a rapper, getting out of college, all the football players that had their dream, basketball players that had their
Yeah.
dream, ended up becoming a rapper. I was rapping in the closet in college. I went to UNLV, shout out UNLV, with my boy Big O. And we were just rapping in the closet, sock on the microphone. And we released our first mixtape with a bunch of dudes from the Bay Area who I created, quote unquote, Hard to Reach with. And we thought it was successful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We got, a little bit of notoriety from the Bay and a little bit of notoriety from Vegas. But then I started working with Floyd Mayweather and Stevie Jocelyn from Love and Hip Hop. I was 17 at the time.
Yeah, wow.
And I wanted to do more of like songwriting. But my engineer, shout out Nechi Noir, he's in Las Vegas. He works for a lot of different people
Right.
That are in the industry. And, I took that opportunity and I actually dropped out of college to focus on music. And I got into a conversation one day where it was Floyd Mayweather's team. They were talking with their artist, and he was saying something like, we have a Ferrari meetup later on. I'm gonna go trade my Corvette for a Ferrari. And this was when I finally realized, like, I didn't have anything to say for myself, about that. And I realized, like, I'm in Vegas, I've been to LA, I've been to all these places, but I'm still feeding off these people with money. What kind of name do I have for myself?
Right. Right.
And I grew up with, people in the Bay Area that were making it. And I wanted to make a name for, myself.
Right.
So.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like you're doing that.
Yeah, we are. Coming back, to the Bay Area, it's definitely been a change. There's such a box that everybody's kind of built in, with this music thing. But I'm trying to break that barrier.
Yeah, man. I didn't know what to expect coming to the Bay because I wasn't too familiar with like the culture or even like the way it is. And so the music scene isn't definitely as big as it probably used to be. Yeah, for sure. I know
Dre times.
Yeah.
And, when the hyphy movement started,
yeah,
that's
right.
when it was its biggest. Now you can be as big as, Mr. Fab and E40, but, that's setting, your bar to that certain standard.
Right,
so
right,
shout
right.
out them, but,
for sure, for sure. But it's been cool just to kind of get in amongst the culture of the Bay because, man, there's so many great rappers that have come out of the Bay and so many like really good music that's come out of the Bay in general.
Yeah.
So you were in Las Vegas, and then did you go? You said you went to Tokyo or Japan?
It's funny because, we went to go visit Japan last year, and it was half a music opportunity / half for fun.
Right, for sure.
We got to see a lot of different places in Shibuya, Tokyo, but Sony is actually out there. So I went to go visit Sony in Miami and Japan last year. So I still have connections in songwriting for Paramount recording and stuff like that.
Wow, that's awesome.
So, yeah.
So when you were having those conversations with, Floyd's team and who else was it?
Stevie Jocelyn. From
Stevie Jocelyn,
right.
Yeah. What you decided to kind of like come back over to the Bay to make a name of yourself because you've been like focusing like too much on, or not focusing too much, but just
on the material things.
Yeah, material things. And coming back over here, like how's that been for you? Just kind of like starting from scratch, I guess.
Yeah.
How was that journey for you?
It was hard.
Yeah.
It was probably the hardest decisions of my life because, for one, I was already in that scene. I was in the industry and I was 19 at the time. I'm 27 now, and people out in the Bay Area, again, they're fighting, to get into that, to get into that scene. And when I came back, I think the biggest thing for me was I attempted to work with the people that I created Hard to Reach with.
Right.
And sometimes that passion just elevates, even more, especially when you leave. So I ended up taking it upon myself to visit 23 different studios out here. I went to different studios, from the Shop Recording Studios to Panda Recording Studios, The Grill, the Red Wall Studios, you name it. I've been to that studio, and I've recorded there. Looking at it from that light, I realized that I had to do things a lot more independently and make a name for myself first. Right. So I did a lot of visuals. I was on Thizzler, worked with Empire, did a lot of, again, songwriting for Sony, Paramount. But again, I was building my name first to kind of put it out and say, this is what Hard to Reach is, and this is how we can provide for you. So building those connections, establishing those, and then again, putting that forward for the said team. So. Is
the team that started out, are they still with you or not everybody?
They're still with us to an extent. Yeah. They're always going to be my brothers.
For sure. I always thought about that because when you start out a company, with like friends or people that enjoy hanging out with, it becomes different because there's contracts involved, there's money involved, and so how's that been for you? Have you been able to maneuver that pretty good, or has it been tough with that?
I think for me, there's a lot of passion and egos.
Right.
But when it comes down to it, I don't like to pay any mind to it. I've always been reaching, that's our terminology.
Right.
We like to reach past, a lot of the negativity / a lot of the people that just aren't with the same mindset. But for myself, my brothers are still going to be my brothers.
For sure,
to the end of the day. And, regardless of if we're making the same moves together, I know that we genuinely, if one of us makes it, we all make it.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's kind of
that's tight. What was I going to say? Whenever, so it started off as just kind of like everybody that put in some music together, and now it's kind of become more of a helping other creatives get involved and shout them out and bring them up and do stuff together and all that. That wasn't initially the goal, but it's moved to that. How's that been? Are you enjoying that even better than what it was before when you started?
Yeah, we wanted it to be a record label. Initially, everybody creates a record label and then creates a clothing brand, but we wanted it to be a little bit more, and we wanted to start creating events, volunteer events, and even showcases. So that's kind of where we're maneuvering. Our goals right now are to hit 10K on Instagram and then kind of go forward through there. But we made our website. Again, we got legalized through LegalZoom. So we're an official business.
LLC and all that. You have an EIN number? Or
Yep. We got an EIN number and all that. So
I've been working a lot with EINs in my job, and so I have to verify that information.
Taxes. You got to do your taxes.
So what's the mission of Hard to Reach? By the way, you can follow Hard to Reach at Instagram. Hard to Reach
at Hard to Reach ENT on Instagram. Yeah.
And your personal Instagram is.
And my personal Instagram is _DatKid Smoove. So DATKIDSMOOVE _.
Cool. So I know a lot of businesses and a lot of I guess businesses have their mission that they want to do. What's y'all's mission?
Yeah, I guess for us, seeing how there's not really much inclusion in the Bay. There's only two real specific outlets and resources. There's Thizzler and then there's Empire.
Right.
If you want your music distributed. We want to take it a step further, and we want to put people or creatives in different circles. So we want to push people to places like our connections in North Carolina, Raleigh. We want to push people to places in Los Angeles, get them studio connections, get them industry connections. We want to, again, create showcases, volunteer events, and get more people involved in the community rather than just, okay, we're going to make music for this materialistic thing that doesn't really, anybody can get a deal. I've gotten offered deals from Sony Epic Records, $30,000 for 3 years. But if you can make, $90,000 yourself working a full-time job,
sure,
why would you take that loan? You know? So that's kind of, the mindset that we're at.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. It does end up turning into a materialistic thing. If you don't get your mind straight and focus on what the passion is, it can easily turn and twist into something about money. Even with this podcast, I've always wanted to do this podcast just to talk to people. I feel like I have good conversations with people. It's funny, it's enlightening, and all that.
It's natural,
but it can slowly begin to be oh, do I have enough people watching? Oh, are they enough people following? Oh, I need to start making some money off of this. But it's no, wait, I'm enjoying it as it is. If I make money off of it, cool.
Yeah.
But I love it, and if you love what you're doing, I think that's so important to have. No,
I agree. What is real will always prosper, and I think Will Smith said it the best. What is really self-esteem? A lot of people look at social media and they think, oh, I'm not as good as this person, or I'm not doing as good as this person. Oh, this person's visiting this place.
Yeah.
Focus on yourself. I think that's gotten me to the position where I'm at, and I don't care, about what anybody else thinks. And I don't care about any other brand or business that's quote unquote doing the same things or going against us, because I'm more worried about us, in our communities.
How have you navigated that to, not compare yourself, because it's so easy, especially with social media, man. It's the easiest thing to do. You know what I mean? You go, oh, this guy has more followers than us. It freaking sucks. We want this many people.
It does.
How have you been able to maneuver that? Or are you still struggling with that? Or?
It's deterring, but at the same time, you have to look at the reasons why. If a person is more personable in person, that's probably why their ability to exceed on social media is better.
True.
If a person is, not the same person that you see on social media in person, then that's a complete counter, intuitive, and
That's
you're just
true.
like using social media to kind of build yourself, which is also a negative.
But not a real self, not your real self.
Yeah, but your real self, I think the realer you are, again, the more genuine, like you said, what's real will prosper. So
Yeah, that's fire, man. I remember when I also first met you, you talked a little bit about that munchie movement. Yeah, can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Is that cool? I work with Kevin at Wix.
Oh, that's right. You guys do.
Yeah, so I've seen him wearing some of the stuff too, and so he's definitely a big part of that as well.
It's funny because I'm not wearing the Munchie Movement shirt today, but I thought I was wearing it. But yeah, Kevin's my bro. You know what I mean? I'm glad you guys connected.
Kevin's cool, man.
Yeah.
He's a real dude.
Yeah,
He's
I've known him since probably I was 12 years old. We went to Pinole Middle School, Pinole Valley High School. Shout out Pinole, yee. But that's my bro, and he created the Munchie Movement kind of with the same general ideal. Creating volunteer work and opportunities for the marijuana community.
Right.
So he's done a lot of different Thanksgiving give backs. There were opportunities with Senior C-Sig that he's done. A lot of different brands that have come by and helped him. Even Corova. Shout out Corova, but I can probably leave that to him to talk about.
Right, cool. No worries. I thought that you kind of helped start that too.
Yeah.
But
I was there for majority of the events, the first couple of events, and I did have a lot of promotion for him, but that's all him and Migs. That's all them.
Cool.
So.
Cool. So kind of talking about how you were working in IT before, and then you lost your job. How's that been with like the whole freaking pandemic, man? How's that been with you?
Honestly, doing a lot of this contracted work, it's been good and it's bad. I've had times where, I can focus on Hard to Reach and I can do my social media thing and then get back to work. But there are times where I'm just out of work, for weeks at a time. And it's just like, dang, what do I do? I'm just bored at the house, but I saved up, luckily enough to kind of get by.
That's fire. Are you not getting, can you get unemployment or?
I won't let myself get to that point.
Okay.
Just because it's like, if I can work, and I'm able to work, then sure, I'm going to take that, and I'm going to take the, health insurance that I can get and
take
stuff.
that stimulus check.
Yeah. Yeah, I got that stimulus check on top of the check, and I was like, what? I didn't even know that was, possible. But, luckily that came through. I'm hoping for the next one too.
Yeah, so. Same. Hoping for another one. Man, so are you going to try to find, because this is my thought for myself. I've been working at Wix for almost 2 years now.
How do you like that?
It's a great job.
That's
I like
awesome.
it. Oh, well, I like how they are with their employees. They take care of us, and which I enjoy. You know what I mean? Like, as going to leadership college in Australia and learning about leadership, I think the biggest thing in leadership is making sure that your team is taken care of.
Yeah.
And when they're good, everything else kind of flows from there.
Yeah.
So, anytime a business or a company does that and makes sure that their team's good and takes care of them, you got me. You know what I mean? So. Yeah. I love it there, but for me, I've kind of made a decision like this is gonna be my last 9-to-5 job I have.
Legit.
You know what I mean? Because I want to start something. I wanna make money different places, different areas, start investing and do all that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have another 9-to-5 job again because I don't want to make another resume again. I don't want to do any of that because I want to just, have that. And so like with COVID coming up, man, it's to be honest, it's kind of helped me because I've been able to save a lot of money.
Got it.
And all that, but like. For those that have maybe lost their job like you and all that, like, are you planning to try to starting like another business on the side to make money, or do you think you're going to try to start looking for another job somewhere else, or how's it looking for you?
I think I'm in the same boat as you when it comes down to that. I think that's why I stuck to the contracted work instead of going back into full time and doing the regular 9-to-5 for a business for like the typical 5 years. Hard to Reach right now, we're at a point where we can start and we have even started charging for our services.
Right.
So reposting via the story, reposting via the Instagram. So there's an opportunity there, but we want to make it a little bit bigger.
For sure.
Again, with promotion websites that are charging a minimum of like $150, $300, there is a little bit of wiggle room there to where we can cut the cost, but at the same time create, another platform for people to market their, own products. So
right, that's fire, bro. I think you're gonna do it, man. It's. I love the concept. I love what you are doing. I think it's gonna be great.
I appreciate that, bro.
I would love to get you on, like maybe in a couple of years, just see where you're at again, and see how far y'all have gone, and maybe have the whole team in.
Yeah.
For that, that'd be fire.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
We're chatting a little bit, and we're talking about Michael Jackson. We recently celebrated his, I guess, anniversary of his death.
Yeah, R.I.P. Mike.
R.I.P. Michael Jackson. Bro, it's been 11 years.
That's what's crazy. It felt like it was just yesterday. I remember when it happened, actually.
Same.
Do you remember what you were doing during that time?
No, it's hard because that time was it's a weird time. It was a weird time for me, the whole thing. So, like, I was I think in the middle of a breakup and all this stuff, and so it was just a weird time for me. But
Got it.
Tell me what was happening at your time when it happened.
Oh man, when it happened, it's funny because I think I was a junior in college or a junior in high school,
right?
And I was playing football with my friends, and we were on our way to football practice. I think it was my friend Essay, Ian, Antoine. And myself, of course, maybe even Bruce and Mark were there. But we were driving in the car, football practice, and we were listening to T-Pain Lay It Down.
Come on.
I believe. I remember it like literally it was yesterday.
That's so good.
T-Pain Lay It Down. And for some reason, we decided to switch to the radio.
Yeah.
And when we switched to the radio, all you hear is Michael Jackson, has passed away. And literally it felt like, bro, time just froze.
Yeah.
And we were just like in traffic, and we just all looked at each other like, yo, is this real? And my favorite song of all time, is You Rock My World, by Michael Jackson. So on the way to football practice, we started slapping that, and, we got it down. But again, R.I.P. Mike, man.
Wow. Yeah, it's crazy to think about. It's been 11 years. Have you seen the documentaries about Michael Jackson?
It's funny because the other day I was watching Oprah.
I don't want to watch them.
Really? Why?
Because people have said that it makes him look really, really bad. Those documentaries, like the Neverland and all that, Leaving Neverland.
I see.
And so for me, I'm like, man, I don't want to see him in a different light. But
that's like watching a Kanye West interview.
Yeah.
At the same time, because it's like you get to understand the person,
true.
but you can see their eccentricity. So I can see why people say that.
Anyways, what were you saying? So you said you were watching Oprah?
Oh, yeah. We're watching Oprah interview about Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about his life and, his story of where he came from, abused by his father.
Right.
I don't want to get into, this whole specifics and stuff like that. But you can tell how really genuine, Mike was. And, he may have had his little, escapades here and there. But you can tell it came from a different place. Same thing with Kanye West, after his mom died, it was a different light, and you got to just give them that respect and that cadence. But a little bit going back to Michael Jackson in college, my first photographer was actually the son of the doctor who killed Michael Jackson.
Really?
Yeah. And honestly, after the first couple shoots, he had to disappear. Like, he literally just vanished. Like, I don't know what happened, to bruh, but I didn't, I haven't talked to him like since. And then maybe a couple years later, he added me on Facebook or Instagram, but they were saying he was getting like hate mail and threat. And, that's another thing, if something like that happens, I think we should cater more to the families, those specific instances, because I didn't think he deserved that.
Even like the whole Kobe Bryant, like his wife and their kids, they keep having to remember because everybody keeps talking about it and all that. And like, I don't know, like even I saw somebody wanting to have Kobe and his daughter on the cover of 2K, but I'm like, wow. Yeah, that's cool. And I saw somebody in the comments saying, let's just leave the family alone. Let them kind of, let them be for a bit. We can do this next year or something. But I'm like, man, that's real. Because, like, I bet it's so tough for them right now.
They don't want to be remembered of that. And even at that, people are doing the whole Simpsons thing where, they're like, oh, the Simpsons predicted. Yeah. It's like people don't want to be remembered of stuff like that.
That's crazy. We're talking about, you mentioned Kanye. What do you think of his latest album?
I haven't had a chance.
You haven't heard it?
Okay. I haven't had a chance to sit down.
Okay, that's fair.
Not yet.
Well, did you see that Dr. Dre was gonna like re-record it or something?
No. Yeah. No. What's that about?
I don't know. Like, I just saw that there were talks of Dr. Dre. What's the name of his latest album? God is King, or Jesus is King, or
it's God is King. It's like God. Yeah.
and I guess Dr. Dre was gonna kind of like do something with it and like collab with them for that same album or whatever.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know. That'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, see Tekashi 6ix9ine on there too.
Oh man, what are your thoughts of him?
Man, I don't know how he gets so much room on house arrest to even record these videos.
Bro, he got money. He
yeah,
got money.
yeah. Just give him an extra 400 feet.
Look, for Tekashi 6ix9ine, I actually enjoy watching his stuff because he's just a freaking troll.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just enjoy seeing him just trolling people. Like,
you know, perfect timing.
Yeah.
Perfect timing. He got out of jail and he made the right moves. I can't knock him.
Yeah.
You know, I can't knock him.
I mean, to be honest, some of his music is kind of good. Like, it has some of that Latin feeling to it, and I love that.
That's
I love
true.
that. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm not a hater on him. I mean, he does go too far sometimes, but
yeah, he gives back when he does go back,
Yeah.
and you know, I do see the light of what he does, but he is a troll.
definitely is a troll. How is Michael Jackson's music kind of like done with your music?
Yeah. Again, "You Rock My World" is my favorite song.
Yeah.
Of all time. If I could go through like a top 5 album list, "Invincible" would probably be a runner-up, but I would say it would be like 8701, Usher, Nelly, "Suit Sweat," kind of songs like that.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
more of like a 90s
like that.
vibe type of dude. So.
Bro, I'm a big fan of Casey and JoJo.
Yeah. Always on time.
Bro, when I was in high school, I just jammed that thing all the time, bro.
God.
That was one of the songs on there. Was one of them for when I broke up with my girlfriend, and it was just like, oh man,
Yeah.
those songs are so real, bro.
Yeah.
It's so good though. I love slow songs.
You
like,
can't bring music like that back, but we're trying.
Yeah,
We're definitely trying.
I think that's good. That's great. Cool. So, you don't live in Oakland, right? You live
I live in San Lorenzo.
San Lorenzo. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been able to go to any of the protests?
Yeah, we went to one. It was by San Lorenzo High School, and it was just a march up to the Capitol building. So it was just pretty chill.
What are your thoughts on the protest? I've been able to go to a few. Actually, our church had one, which is pretty cool. We're able to go to do that in SF. But what are your thoughts on the protests?
I think for me, leaving at a young age and being in Las Vegas, I was very attuned to the news and things that were happening, outside, because when I left to Vegas, I was alone. I didn't have anything else to do but focus on, my community and myself, and think about the ways that I can change, if I did come back. You have to think about it like this. I agree with the protest to a certain extent. I like the idea that we're letting our voice be heard and we're making our voice be heard.
By the way, you are half black, half Filipino.
Yes,
Correct.
I am half black, half Filipino. So it's both sides to
For
me.
sure. Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I'm not. I'm too black to hang out with my Filipino friends, and I'm too Filipino to hang out with my black friends.
Right.
So it's kind of that's specific. But going back, you have to think 2014, Eric Garner.
Yeah.
He was the first one, and there weren't protests at the time. But I was in Las Vegas marching with people like Black Panthers, doing a different scene. I think it's taken 12 to 13 too many deaths for us to speak out. And I think for our generation now, we have to start putting that into stuff like voting and educating the next generation into how we can make, things better for the future. Because if we're continuing to talk about money, materialistic things, and being a celebrity, those things are going to get pushed down to the next generation. And things like politics and who's going to rule, not to say rule, but be in charge of our government is important.
I think so. I think it's great. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. I, coming from a Mexican / white, that's what I am. I haven't experienced much racism from Texas as well, but just being around these protests and being around having conversations with people about this, it's been crazy just to kind of hear what black people actually go through.
Yeah.
And the fact that sometimes you're walking on one side of the road and other people cross just to not walk, by you, which is crazy. I'm like, I've never seen that before. I didn't even and you know what's crazy too? Like, we're in school and we study this stuff.
Yep.
But they make it feel like it's so long ago. Like it was like hundreds of years ago.
Yep.
But it's like
it's
50
still
years
happening.
ago.
Or even at that, it's still happening.
It's still happening. But what I'm saying is like they make it sound like the whole Martin Luther King and all that stuff was just like so long ago. But nah, it's like 2 or 3 generations before us.
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to my grandma last night actually, and she was kind of counter arguing against me when I did say what I just said, and she was like, now, you know, I see it as a better time because now a lot more races are joining together. It's not just how it was when she was growing up, where it was just blacks, you know, had to do this for blacks. You know, it's other minorities, they're building together, and we're like, you know, we stand for each other. So she kind of, you know, stuck that in my head, and I was like, I see the positive.
You said your grandma?
Yeah.
Is she Filipino? Or
It's funny because she's actually my step grandma.
Okay.
She's my black step grandma. Okay. So my dad's stepmom.
Okay.
Because his mom was never really, you know, around to talk to me about anything. So she's my real grandma.
Real.
Yeah.
I hear that. What was I gonna say? So with these protests, because do you think like they should still keep happening? You know, because like I know people are still doing them and all that. Or do you think now we've had people's attention? Now we gotta start making those moves to the, you know, to start voting, making those moves to start making changes and in other things and all that. But for me, coming from like my point of view, I'm seeing it like, man, this is actually really great because it hasn't let down. Well, it has let down a bit, but it hasn't let down too much where people are not still seeing stuff about it or not thinking about it. And I think it's great because we need to have conversations with people, especially those like, man, on my Facebook with people from back in Texas. Like their mindset is very different from what I've seen now. You know, because coming from a small town, Plainview, Texas, it's we're like kind of like we don't get to experience a lot of that stuff. We don't, you know, we're like it's either white, Mexican, or black that are there. And so like for me, I never kind of saw anything. Like I had some black friends, but I never actually talked to them about like if they've ever like experienced racism before, you know. And so like after that, I moved to Australia, and there was not very many black people there at all, you know. But I had a black roommate, and we talked some about that and just how people look at him very different, you know, just because he's black. And then coming over here to the Bay, this is a very different culture as well, just from like anywhere in the United States, you know. And so for me, it's just been like an eye opener to see like other points of views. But now when I talk to people that are in Texas, they're like
they're oblivious to
it and they can't see it. And so like even the other day, even yesterday, someone put like because there were some Indians that were flipping off the Mount Rushmore.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
and they took a picture of it.
They took a picture of it, and then they posted it. And then somebody was no, actually, someone else posted something else about this. Anyway, I saw that yesterday too. But one of my friends had posted something about like just about the whole racism point of view, and it was a weird point of view that he's talking about. But then in the comments, someone was like, "Yeah, they need to like." It's creating separation, and I see it to a point. It can create separation to a point, but it depends how you view it. And then he said they're playing the Black National Anthem for the football games. I'm like, I'm like, how is that creating like division by doing that? I asked him. He's like, well, I didn't know that. He was like, I didn't know that they had a black
national anthem.
And then I was like, and then he was like, what if white people had their own national anthem? I'm like, well, that's pretty much the national anthem that we have here. But
exactly.
But I was telling, I then said it. Well, look at it this way. If the white people experienced oppression like the black people did, then if they had their own national anthem, 100%, that's fine. Yeah. But they haven't. You know what I mean? Black people have been oppressed for so many years and still are, and they have their own national anthem. And what's cool about it is they're gonna play it at the NFL. Yeah, and that's what they're saying. Not only that, have you actually read what the national anthem says? And he didn't miss his back or whatever, but I read it, and I'm like, it's talking about their victories and how they've been able to make it, you know, and just like how they're gonna keep going. And I think it's great. And
no, I think going back to your question, we need to have these conversations still. They still need to happen. I don't think anything negative about it. It's just taking that action, to the polls and doing things more community oriented. I lived in Texas for 6 years.
Really?
Yeah, Fort Hood.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm an Army brat.
Okay.
So,
okay.
yeah, Fort Hood. So I got to see, the difference. And you're right. You know what I mean? It takes somebody to leave and go to a lot of different places to have that same mindset and understand that there's a lot more going on and that we do need to take action. And if you're just, stuck in one place like the Bay Area for your whole life, you won't see that. So I'm glad you touched on that.
No, for sure, for sure. Have you experienced any kind of racism towards yourself, like personally?
Yeah. It's funny. The other day, I went to go return a money order.
Uh-huh.
I just wanted to cash my money order just because of everything COVID going on. I was like, okay, I'm going to get a little bit more money.
Let's go.
I went to go cash it, and I guess it must have been because I was wearing a hoodie. I don't know. I'm fairly light-skinned, but I'm not really that light-skinned. But I went in with a hoodie, and I was just like, I want to cash this, check. I bought it from there, and I had called prior, and I had said, can I cash money orders there that I had bought from there before?
Right.
The lady on the phone said yes. So I went there, and when I got there was a different teller that was there as representation. So I went and asked her the same thing, can I cash this check? She looked at me like I stole something. She looked at me so crazy and was just like, okay, let me talk to my manager. She went to the back, and next thing you know, all I hear is arguing.
Yeah, wow.
They're just arguing, yelling, somebody cussing somebody out.
Jeez.
And then next thing you know, the lady who was on the phone comes, and she was African American.
Right.
So she comes to the front, and they're arguing with each other, and she's saying, you didn't have to cuss at me. And the manager gets involved, and she fires the African American lady for telling me that I could get my check there. So I told her, I was like, I apologize, anything happened, I had contacted corporate. But then when I went back in line and talked to the manager, she was like, we already denied you. There's nothing, we can't even verify that this money order is real.
Jeez.
And I have this all on film.
Yeah.
So I had sent it to World Star and everything like that. But she had just denied me when I had bought the money order. From there, I had called before, and she fired, her African American employee. And this was just like last week. Jeez. So when it comes down to stuff like the protesting and, everything that's going on right now, I just hope things change.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where my mindset's at.
Yeah,
so.
For sure. Because we can keep doing all this, but if nothing ever changes, it's,
yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, for me, it's like, how do we change this, man? Because it's like,
we got to build our communities.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way. We have to build our communities, and we have to establish them in a sense where we put each other first.
Yeah.
There's no other way.
I agree. Cheers to that.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you had seen a UFO. Talk to me about that, because I want to know what you saw.
Yeah, bro.
Or when was this?
It's funny. I was in 5th grade. I remember it again like it was yesterday. All these stories I remember like they were yesterday. And I was riding home from school with my mom, and she was talking to me about something about work. And it went in one ear and out the other completely. As a kid,
you know,
I must have had a Game Boy in my hand or something,
sure.
The worm light. But I was looking up at the sky. I was saving a game or something. I was looking up at the sky, and I saw this figure just zoom, 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 make a L shape, and then went up to a cloud and sucked up the cloud, bro, and it just disappeared, bro. And I looked at my mom. I was like, Mom, did you see that? And she was like, see what? And ever since then, I was, always look at the sky.
Dang.
A lot of people look at their phones all the time. I'm looking at the sky, bro.
That's crazy. Have you seen, like, have you ever like looked more into like UFOs, like just in like general, and like reading much about it?
Oh yeah. I watch a lot of conspiracy theories and stuff on Netflix that they got UFOs explained and all that good stuff. So
what are your thoughts? Do you think that they're aliens, or do you think it's a government?
Oh man, I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
We have to be again oblivious, or we have to be more into ourselves to think that there's not other life on planets. I was reading I was watching another documentary about how water got onto Earth. And that was interesting because Earth, obviously, it used to be a rock before, and then there were water deposits, but they were actually made of rock that put off greenish water, and that was really rust and iron. And then meteorites would come and hit the Earth, which had water-bearing minerals, and that's how the Earth got turned into the Earth as we know it today. Back then, a lot of plants and dinosaurs and stuff like that were surviving off of like sulfur and like carbon dioxide. So when those mineral deposits kept hitting the Earth and created oxygen, all those animals died off. Yeah. Hence the creation of, everything else. So I was like,
So, do you think that we were an accident, or do you think that we were created by something?
And again, it goes to a little bit of, and you can't have one without the other. You know what I mean? There has to have been something first. And whatever that was first, that was the, initial being that.
Well, because I asked that because there are people that think that everything kind of just happened, and of course, like with evolution and all that,
one strange
like
rock
it's changed, what I mean? But I'm like, for me, it's like, man, how can, like, I just think about our bodies, just our bodies, okay, nothing else.
Yep.
Our bodies heal themselves. Like, you get a cut, and the next day there's a scab, and by the next week it doesn't even look like it's there. Sometimes you might have a scar, but that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, and then for me, it's like, how can that ever be an accident?
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
You know what I mean? Like, or you think about like the water, like the ocean, and you just think about like.
I don't think anything's an accident necessarily. Yeah. I think everything happens for a reason.
Well, I don't mean, okay, I guess I said it wrong.
But I see where you're going.
I guess people believe that it just kind of happened,
and
nothing ever created it. But I'm like, if nothing created that, it's like I heard the example the other day where they said, give me like a watch and take it all apart and put it in a box and then shake it all up, and then take it out and it should be put together. That's kind of like how.
That's an accident. Yeah,
that's kind of like how. People kind of believe that this kind of happened, and I'm like, well, that's crazy, yeah, because
I see,
because that everything's kind of like perfect, even like the tilt of the Earth, But anyways, like
but even at that, for us to have, again, to be alive, it's like it can't be an accident for us to have this much consciousness and all these other animals and doing. Their thing, it couldn't be an accident. But
it's crazy to think about sometimes, man. There's times I'm just like laying down, I think about like what happened before. Like, was it just a white,
blank space?
White blank space, and like you know what I mean? It's crazy. I think about it sometimes. Like, man, this is kind of scary to think about sometimes. You know,
my girl and I, we went to Miami and we watched this science show exhibit, and they said when everything first, like the Big Bang, let's just say the Big Bang, right now it's still expanding. So the universe is still expanding, and then one day it's just gonna hit the end of wherever the heck it is, and it's just gonna come right back in, so they say. So it could just be one blank space. Who knows?
Who really knows? You know what else I saw the other day? It was just a thing on you watch TikToks at all?
I just got into that. That's the younger generation.
I've been watching a lot of TikToks because they're just like, some of them are just like kind of teaching you stuff, how to do this, how to do that, and like a lot of cool interesting stuff. But anyways,
it's fun. It's funny. It's funny,
bro. I spent. Do you remember Vine?
Yeah.
It's kind of like Vine for me, and so like but I spent, because in Vine I spent hours like going to bed and you just like 6 seconds each, but like you spend an hour watching them because you're like, dang, these are so funny.
These are hysterical.
And so like I feel like TikTok is kind of the same kind of vibe, but some of them are like interesting facts or stuff that's kind of teaching you stuff, which has been cool. But there was someone that said that it said whenever you die, your brain is still functioning for 7 minutes and it's going through your whole life, like it's replaying your whole life in your head.
Got you.
And then they're saying, but it feels like it's real. So some of them were asking, so are we in our brain right now, dead?
I see.
But going through life through that 7 minutes of time.
That's crazy.
It's crazy to think about, right?
That's crazy. Right?
Yeah. You're like,
that's some Matrix stuff.
Are
right
we?
There. Yeah.
Speaking of the Matrix, are we in the Matrix?
Oh gosh, here we go. That's always one of the number one questions. Man, It depends on how you look at it. You know, there are a lot of different theories.
When you say Matrix, though, I think of the movie. Is that what we're talking about?
Exactly.
Kind of the same way?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking exactly of the movie.
Okay.
Like Neo, the one. I feel like everybody has the opportunity to be the one.
Yeah, for sure.
Real talk. I feel like if we are in the Matrix, it's the way the government kind of displays everything and kind of puts everything into our, you know, plate and like, this is what you should do. This is how you should live. To that extent. There are people living like nomads, you know, out in Oshkosh, Bagosh, you know, living in tents, doing whatever.
Yeah, true.
Focused on their life, and that's their, you know, that's their passion. I think we are, you know, to a certain extent.
Yeah. How would that work if you think we are? Like, how does it look like? Do you think like you're in some other place connected to like the Matrix? Is that what you're thinking about, or
not like that?
Not like that.
When you look at the Matrix and even the actual meaning behind it, that's kind of like,
talk to me, because I like explain it like if I don't understand, because I really don't understand.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. The Matrix, you know, basically just living in your day to day, and everything else around you is keeping you within that day to day. So everything else is a trigger to keep you in that space.
So kind of like the Truman Show. Did you ever see that movie?
No.
You never seen it? Oh, you got to watch it, bro.
Truman Show. Can I watch that on Netflix?
I don't know. It has
but it's a movie? Or?
Yeah, it's a movie. It has Jim Carrey in it. But
okay.
It's pretty interesting. You should watch it. Anyways,
I'm like, with Jim Carrey, I'm like, it can either be.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Like,
shout out Jim Carrey.
I'm not gonna talk to you about it anymore because then I'll ruin it. Just watch it. It's a good movie.
Liar.
Liar is great too.
That's one of my favorite movies.
I love it. Anyways,
but yeah, I mean, going back to it to an extent, you know, us working these 9-to-5 jobs, you know, if let's just say when the Pilgrims left from Britain or whatever, didn't decide to make money, or, you know, that optimization of ideals, that form, that's what create the separation. You think about it, you know, all those original Pilgrims, you know, they started off with this, and they're like, okay, we're going to create this money incentive. We're going to take these blacks from, you know, Africa, or make them slaves, and even the Chinese to build the railroads, or even the, you know, so on and so forth.
Right.
So they started off like this. We started off like this, and it's just going the same. We're never going to catch up, and we're never going to, you know, get to the top unless we're celebrities, or unless we're...
Even celebrities, man. It's crazy. Like,
yeah. They have their own problems.
Man, bro.
They have their own problems.
Yeah.
But I want to be the one.
Come on, same.
Exactly.
We are the one, bro. We're gonna change it.
Exactly. We need to find the oracle,
bro. Yes. I would like to be able to learn karate in just one go around. You know what I mean? Or learn something. You know, like quick like that.
That's where we're going. I mean, they already got the smart chips for the hands, and then you can open the doors.
I saw that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is nuts. It would be insane if Apple made us chip ourselves when we worked there.
I mean, to be honest, if it makes life easier, let's do it. I'm not scared. I'm not scared of the government, to be honest. Like, even like, you know, people cover up their lens of their computer. Like, if the government's gonna take time to look at me through there, somebody is. What's up? What's up? Say what's up. Follow me. Subscribe to my channel.
For real though.
I mean, I'm not hiding anything. You know, if you're scared, you might be hiding something, but I'm not. So I'm good. I'm all good.
Oh, that's legit.
You were telling me you wanted to be a marine biologist. Why was that?
It was one of my long-time dreams. Yeah. You know, when I was a kid, I always loved the water. I always loved marine animals. I love animals in general. You can ask me a couple different questions about animals, or like we can watch a show and I'll be like, oh, that's that type of, you know, animal.
Did you ever see that video of the lizard that was going to get attacked by the snakes and then just running?
Yeah,
that's a crazy video.
Yep. There was like 20 different snakes, and then the lizards were just jumping over those rocks.
And then it grabbed it for a little bit, but then it got away.
Yep.
That's fire, bro. Anyways.
It's stuff like that, you know? But I think for me, when I went to college, my mom was like, you know, being Filipino, she was like, be a nurse, be a nurse, be a nurse. And, you know, that's not what I wanted to do.
Is that
a
thing for, like,
Filipinos? Yeah. I mean, I grew up in, you know, and I can say this, I grew up in Daly City, you know, half black, half Filipino. Daly City's like...
Shout out to Daly City.
Yeah.
That's where I first lived when I first moved here.
Really?
Yeah, for like 2 months.
Then you know that's like mini Manila.
Yeah. It definitely is.
Fog town, you know, everybody knows the story about why there's fog. I'm not even going to say it. But, you know, she always wanted me to be a nurse, and I that wasn't my passion.
Yeah.
And for me, you know, seeing animals, I didn't want to be a vet, you know. I wanted to be a marine biologist. But when I grew up and got to college, I realized I was afraid of water.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was just like, I didn't know what was in the water.
ocean is kind of scary, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's scary.
Bro, my girlfriend and I, we went to Miami last year, and we went jet skiing for the first time. Jet skiing, following this instructor.
Right.
It was a pair of myself and someone else behind us. They fell off, and they were so scared. They were like, no, we have to go back. So we were riding, you know, with the instructor, and I turned. I was banging. I was moving.
Yeah.
And I turned, and bro, we hit something so crucial, and we both flew off. I was scared for my life. We were in the middle of the ocean in Miami. It said manatee warning and everything. I'm like, nah.
What does that mean?
That's manatees are like dugongs, or like big looking elephant seal looking.
Jeez.
It's what they used to think mermaids were.
Okay.
Back in the day.
Wow.
They're just big little elephant seal looking things. And I thought one was gonna get us. And my girl, she could swim, so she took swimming classes.
Did you have life jackets?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
We did. I see her swimming to the jet ski, and I'm over here like drowning. I'm like, save me. And I look, I'm like, oh heck nah, she just swimming away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just start swimming.
She just left you.
Yeah, she came back and she grabbed me and tried to pull me, and I was like, no, she being a man, like she being a better man than me. I'm about to switch this and start swimming and save myself. Dang it.
Bro, the ocean's scary. I almost drowned one time when I was in Australia. I went back to visit in 2017.
Got it.
And I got caught in a rip. Like whenever there's waves, the water kind of like pushes you out further.
Were you surfing or were you?
I was just swimming.
You were
I was just swimming.
Dang.
Yeah. And so I got caught in that rip, man, and I was scared because I'm swimming, but I'm not going anywhere because it's just pushing you out. It's pushing you out, and so like I'm going strong, bro. And then there's this guy he's like, hey, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. With my pride, I'm like, yeah, I'm good, man. But he knew I wasn't good, and I knew I wasn't good.
Yeah.
And so he kind of just like, keep going. I'm like, all right, cool. And I kept going, and then finally I kind of like got through it, and my arms were dead, bro. And I almost, bro.
Word.
I felt like I was gonna die. And ever since then, I haven't been back in the ocean. But I went to we went actually whitewater rafting the other day.
Oh dang,
that was fun. But
that's crazy.
But before that, we went to the beach and we went swimming. And then even when I just went swimming for a little bit, I was still scared to get in the water because that traumatic experience for me. I was like, man, I don't want to freaking like drown. Like,
you don't want to feel that.
Drowning is scary, bro.
Yeah.
But when we went whitewater rafting, it's really deep too. And for me, it's like, what's down there? You know what I mean? What's underneath that water?
Yeah. To be honest with you, I always thought about Loch Ness.
Yeah.
And there are different.
I mean, how can that ever come to being without somebody ever seeing that?
That was one of my things. You want to go down there with a submarine.
Yeah.
What if you go down there and you do find, the biggest octopus ever, and you just eat your submarine? It's just like, I found him, but
no one will ever know.
Yeah, no one will ever.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I can't be a marine biologist,
bro. It's crazy because we still haven't seen everything underneath the ocean.
No, I think it's the same as our body. Like 70-80% of the world is covered in ocean, and we know more about space than we do about our own ocean. So
in our own brain.
Yeah. A lot of people used to say we use 10% of our brain, but that was just the old rumor.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Probably made up by some parents saying we can do better.
We can do more. Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy, man. The ocean, water's crazy.
Yeah.
You never know how it's going to react, especially when you're out there.
Yeah, they have these little pens. I don't know if you heard of them, where they're like survival pens. You can go to more like lakes, not oceans, lakes, rivers, and stuff like that, and stick the pen in, and you can drink that water. So it turns it into fresh water if you're ever in danger. They're cheap pens.
That's crazy.
Yeah, water's crazy. I think that's why the UFO was sucking up the cloud, because it needed water.
Yeah, you got to get the moisture from them, right? Those clouds.
You have to think energy too. If our body's made up of water and using that energy, and the world is made up of that water and using that energy, maybe that's what they're on. They're using that as energy.
Far out.
Matrix.
The Matrix, bro. Who knows what's gonna happen?
We're gonna trip a lot of people out with this one, Joe.
I'm down, bro. It's a good conversation. I love it. The Matrix, bro. I don't know what to think with that sometimes. You know what I mean? 'Cause you then you start wondering everywhere else and all that. I was watching this other dude on TikTok, and he was talking about the whole. Have you listened to much about the whole emails? So Epstein. Have you heard much about Epstein about what's going on with that dude?
No.
So apparently he was just some really rich dude that was involved with like.
This is on Netflix.
Yeah. But
I saw that.
Talks about like child prostitution and child like stuff like that. It's weird, bro. But apparently it's like a bigger thing with a lot of well-known
celebrities and athletes,
and
especially.
Yeah, and so like I was watching this TikTok and I got really involved with it yesterday, and it was just talking about how like Hillary Clinton is involved with this and all these other big people. I think even Oprah. But I'm like, man.
There was a UFC fighter that talked about it,
Yeah.
and he came out and he said, there are a lot of celebrities, and he mentioned, Oprah.
Yeah.
So I was like, whoa, there's a lot of things in the industry that a lot of people they're oblivious to, and I know that for a fact.
It's crazy. I don't know any about that. It's crazy, like just what goes on there. But like, even apparently Justin Bieber's new music video, "Yummy." I don't know if you've seen it before, but
Yep.
This guy breaks it down and talks about how it's kind of talking about everybody involved with it and just like how he knows what's been going on, and he's kind of like trying to tell people, but like with little Easter eggs or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
In that video,
little cues.
Yeah,
Yes.
showing you stuff. I'm like, dude, and he's showing like, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's mark of an artist. I can see that. I can see where they're coming from with that, especially the different characters that he did put in there.
Yeah,
so
it's crazy.
The food
bro.
that they're eating.
Yes,
it's very specific.
And some of the food shows like how, because apparently there's this signs for like pizza. I don't know, man. I don't know why I talk about pizza involved, but I love pizza.
They took it deep though. Wow,
bro. Yeah, I know, because like apparently there was this. I don't know, bro. I don't even talk about it because I want to know more about it. I have to look up more stuff, but
yeah, we'll do that research together.
But apparently, like there was like it's a pizza shop, and there was like different logos, and the logo would mean something like pizza would mean like a kid, or like ice cream would mean something else. They would have all these words that meant other things and all that.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's crazy, bro.
Who broke it down? Was it somebody that just watched the video, or
some dude? I don't even know who he is. I just got caught up in it, and then I started like watching all those videos, and you know how you get in those like
it's the rabbit hole.
Yeah, rabbit hole. Keep going. It's crazy, bro. I'm like, it's entertaining though to me too. You know what I mean? Even though it sucks and it's bad, but like what people are doing, because that's not cool at all. But yeah, it's weird, man. The world is a crazy place right now.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting time to be alive.
It is, but you know what? We're gonna make a change, and I think Generation Z, the ones that are a bit younger than us, they're gonna kill it, man. They're just the way that they're handling all this stuff right now, and the way that they're like trying to make a change, even like in their families.
Yeah,
it's crazy. And I think it's a good thing. I think it's gonna be I think, with everything happening right now, I think it's gonna move forward. I think we're gonna see some great things that we've been waiting to see for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the oldest of 5 siblings. I have one in 3rd grade, 2 in high school, and then 1 in middle school. So it's like, I hope, and I want to cater to that. I want to make it brighter for them, and I want to continue to do these things like educate the people and talk about things like this, because that's what they need. So
and it was, I think it's crazy because like these younger kids are just killing it right now. Like they're creating their own businesses. They're like, you don't even need college anymore, man.
Nope.
You don't need college.
Nope.
And it's so cool to see them like do great things. And I think it's just the beginning. I'm excited to see what they're gonna do. Like I've never been more excited about a generation than them. And I think it's just gonna be really cool.
Yeah, they're very smart. Yeah, you just gotta use the right tools and resources.
And they have so much at their fingertips to be able to like. If we had this stuff, like I'm a bit older than you. You're 27, right?
I'm 27.
Okay, I'm 3 years older than you. I just turned 30.
Oh, congrats! Happy belated,
bro. Thanks, bro. I'm getting old. But if we had this stuff when we were in high school, bro. Yeah. First of all, I'd be getting in trouble because I'd be like trying to do stuff like I would just be getting in trouble anyways.
I'd be on my iPhone on Google Chrome,
bro. Well, like when I was in high school, that's when I think it was on a senior. That's when the first iPhone came out.
Yep. When I was a sophomore, so yeah.
And it's my first phone was the flip phone with the camera on it or whatever. It was crazy, but I think like I said, I'm just stoked to see what's gonna happen. I'm looking forward. Like, even though this is a tough time, the whole pandemic, man, racism coming out, or like it's been here, but like we're seeing it more, and I think it's great that we're able to see it, because now we can make a change. I think it's gonna make I was gonna say there was this kid that was recording her conversation with her parents, and they were arguing over the whole racism thing, and like her parents were like had this mindset of like it's not real, it's not really happening, and she's arguing with them, saying it is real, and here's the numbers to back it up, and it's just so cool because like these kids are standing up.
Yeah,
she had to have been like at least 15 or 16.
Oh wow!
And it's like, man, that's so cool. You
know,
what
were they, or their ethnicity?
They were white. They were white.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. So she was standing up.
Yeah, she was standing up, and it was like, man, that's so cool. Like, I'm all for that. I'm all for like empowering kids, like not to be rude or not to be like mean, but to stand up and stand their ground. I think it's amazing. I think we should do that too. You know, we should be able to stand up and, you know, hold our ground and not be afraid to speak it, but also have the empathy and the respect towards others. Yeah. You know, and I think there's gonna be a change, man. There has to be. Yeah,
it has to be. I mean, with us, it's hard for us to utilize those resources and those tools, because with stuff like Instagram and even TikTok, I don't know how to use TikTok, you know, at all. Right. But you know, I know this artist named your boy Diverse. He has like 200,000, you know, fans on TikTok. Jeez. And it's like he's 23 years old. Yeah. You know what I mean? So they know how to use their tools. They know how to use their resources. I was at home yesterday and we were playing this DVD, and the DVD. DVDs? Yeah, a DVD. Jeez. Bro, it was a Blu-ray DVD, and I had rented it from Redbox, because now you can buy the DVD.
Oh, really?
Instead of renting it.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
You can buy it for $5 instead of renting it for $2.
Yeah, right.
So we bought it and we put it in, and it started from the scene selection, and I was like, how do you even work this anymore? That's so crazy. It's definitely the times are passing us, and you know, it's their opportunity.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Yeah, thanks for being on.
Yeah, brother, I appreciate you.
Legit, it's been a while, but it's been great catching up. Yeah. And I'm stoked to see what happens with Hard to Reach Records. No, not records. Is it Hard
to Reach Entertainment?
Hard to Reach Entertainment.
We like to keep it simple.
Yeah, cool. That's awesome. I'm stoked. And I'm stoked to see what happens with you, man, with your career. And you know, I think all the best for you, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being on.
Reach. Bye.